All right. Well, hello, and welcome everyone to our Bg5 Live. Great to have all of you here with us today. Today is August 10th, 2021. This is episode number 117. And today we're going to be taking a look at two traits. So we're going to wrap up trait 7 that we've been in for this past week. So we're going to take a look at trait 7 in quality 6. We're also going to take a look at trait 4. So we'll be moving into trait 4 tomorrow. So trait 4 is going to be the theme of what this next week is going to bring. So what we're going to be taking a look at today is we're going to take a look at sharing power with the logic to protect us from misfortune. So we'll be taking a look at that today. So before we jump in and get started, it's just Linda and myself today. Natalie's on vacation and everyone else is out and on vacation. Such as August. So if any of you that are live here in our Zoom room, if any of you would like to join us live, we'd love to invite you to jump on board. Also, I wasn't able to connect up to Facebook Live, so we'll have to get the recording out there as well. So would love to have you join us if you would like to. So I'll let us know. So before we get started, let's say hello to Linda. So Linda, welcome, welcome, welcome.
Yes, thank you so much. Happy to be here. I've been absent 2 weeks and I missed you all, and looking forward to this beautiful episode.
Yes. Yes. Well, it's great to have you back. And again, it's you and I. And again, anyone who is here live in our Zoom room, please feel free to step up if there's anything that you would like to share. So let's jump in and get started. We are taking a look at August. And as I mentioned before, when we take a look at August, timing is everything as we step into the future of sharing power and adapting to struggle so that we can remove self-imposed boundaries and organize the power of the will to deliver through connecting and bonding with others. So we are now in that theme of purpose fulfilled through connection. And again, we're going to be taking a look at both trait 7 and trait 4 today. Last week, we took a look at the last trait in the purpose fulfilled through form. We are now moving into, and we have been in the past week, trait number 7, which is the elected leader, the role of self in interaction. And that's what we're going to be taking a look at today, as well as formalization, this youthful folly. Logic protects us from misfortune. So that's what we're going to be taking a look at today as we start taking a look at purpose fulfilled through bonding or through connecting. Then we'll take a look at perseverance in the 29, commitment, saying yes, and also deliverance in the 40, aloneness, the power of the will to deliver. And Moxie says hi to everyone. So again, one of the themes that we've been seeing a lot of is this theme of leadership. And we have also, the nodes have changed as well. They've moved from quality 4 to quality 3. Next week, they'll be in quality 2, and the following week, they're going to be in quality 1. So it's moving quite quickly. So if we take a look at the past direction, which is trait number 9 in quality 3, this is the straw that breaks the camel's back. Just kind of like this, the sort of the last straw, the last piece before everything breaks apart. And it feels like in the world, it's felt that sort of that tenseness of, okay, when's the next thing going to drop? So with trait 9 in quality 3, it's the straw that breaks the camel's back. It's the overlooked minor element that always predetermines failure. So it's the use of force to temporarily overcome impediments, or persistent force that zaps vitality and turns molehills into mountains, right? So things that should just be, not a big deal become a huge deal. So just watch for that in your personal life. Also watch for that in the bigger global collective as well. This tenseness of, like things are just barely held together, and what's going to be that last thing that just makes it snap. Now, on the other side of that, if we take a look at the future direction, if we take a look at 16 in quality 3, we have independence, self-generating and sustaining enthusiasm, the independent skill and possible talent to express proper timing and rhythm, or the need to have others confirm your skill or talent. So once again, this theme of leadership, we're going to be talking about leadership again today, and really taking a look at you as your own leader in leading your own life, in following your own decision-making strategy, in claiming your own sovereignty, in claiming your own independence, right? So what is that straw that may just like, crack everything open, right? Or again, there's that tension of this rope that we see right here with this one little strand that's left. What's going to snap that? And what's interesting is that once it snaps, it's like we're holding on to something that may not necessarily be good for us. We're holding on to something, our old beliefs, our old ways of doing things, and it's when we allow that to snap that we can really step into our independence as well. So I find that really fascinating. I didn't know if Linda, if there's anything that you want to share. You just published an article on the Bg5 Business Institute about change and the changing times we're in. So it aligns very nicely to what we see here in the current environment.
Oh, yes. Yes. Times are changing, and I feel the time has come to let go of, especially when in this third quality, bonds made, bonds broken, that you are going to take a look at what serves you and what you have to let go of, and to take leadership for your own, your own life, your own choices, to be more independent, because tensions are arising. And that's also why I wrote the article, because I felt in my clients that there was an insecurity, there was so much anxiety going on, because we have never experienced this before. And I feel like we are led to ourselves. We have to go back to the one thing we can trust and focus on that. And also the bonds that I feel like lots of people are struggling with what to believe. What is the truth? What is the truth out there? And maybe some things that occur in our lives just may be that straw that turns your belief system, or that gives you a different perspective. And I feel like it is teased out. It's teased out of us. And today we're going to take a look at the 7, the leader. And I feel like we have to take leadership onto our lives. We have to have a secure future. We have to proceed from a place of wisdom in the 6th quality. And yeah, I love that it's now in the future direction to independence, and also the enthusiasm for something that is that you love doing. I feel like it's time that we allow ourselves to take a look inside and feel and experience what it is that we are here for, and to feed our skills, and to bring out the enthusiasm, and to experience it, and to bring it out into the world. So I feel like we are all teased out to take our place within this world, and to deliver our talents and gifts and share it with everyone that needs them. And it's a little bit turbulent at this moment, but I feel like our true spirit is provoked. We cannot go back, and that's what I've written in the article, that the old normal is not going to be there anymore. So
exactly.
yeah.
And if you're looking for the article, you can go to the Bg5 Business Institute website. If you scroll down to free resources, you'll find it under the free resources. Also, we just sent out a newsletter today as well. You'll also find a link in our newsletter as well. So that's where you can find it. Yeah, so exciting times that we are in. So let's take a look at today's theme. So today's theme, again, we're in trait 7 of the leader. It's also the army, the role of self in interaction, the elected leader. Now, one of the things that's interesting about this is that we are now moving into this quarter of bonding, of connecting with others. And one of the things that you'll notice, it says the role of self in interaction, right? So if we're connecting, if we're bonding with others, right, this is what role do we take on when we connect with others? This is part of actually our public role as well, which depending on your public role also stands out as how are you designed to lead? Each of us are designed to lead in a specific way. So looking at that aspect can be helpful. This is also the elected leader, right? You have to be elected, you have to be recognized, you have to be invited. This is a trait that needs to be recognized and invited to really step up, to lead. If you lead without recognition, if you lead without invitation, if you lead without being elected, it can cause a lot of resistance. So something to pay attention to. This is the point of convergence. So by design, the need for leadership to guide and order society, right? So again, it's very interesting that it starts off this whole quarter of connection, working together, bonding, right? And there is a need for leadership. You know, we need to be leaders in our own life, but also the need for leadership within communities, society, to be able to guide the process moving forward into the future. So it's about establishing proven patterns that lead us into the future. So there really is a future focus here. And it's the ability to see when the present direction needs correcting, right? If you're going down a certain path and things aren't working out so well, it's the ability to see when that present direction needs correcting in order to get where we need to go. Once again, this is one of the reasons why it's important to be a leader in your own life, right? To make those corrections in order to get where you need to go. And this is also the skill of planning when in a Penta. And a Penta, if you're not familiar with a Penta, is a small group of 3 to 5 people. So there are specific skills that show up when you're in a small group that you may not access as an individual. And this is the skill of planning when you're in a small group. This is the ability to move forward successfully into the future through planning, research and development, and having the right people doing the right work. So Linda, I would love to hear from you. You have trait 7, right? You have both the 7 and the 31. I just have the 7. I don't have the 31. But I would love to hear from you how this trait 7 shows up for you.
Yeah, well, whenever I'm in a group, they choose me as their leader in a small group, I should say. So even when I try to just be a little bit, I'm not going to do that much, people say, oh, Linda, what do we need to do? And it was since I attended school and we had to do a presentation or something. They always said, oh, you have to present it, or you have to make the planning, do the planning, or whatever. So so that's people recognize me and they choose me, and it's fascinating because I really feel, and that's also what Tonya shares, that present direction is so true. Yes, it is. It's what I feel like, and that's maybe also what you can see in my article. When people are anxious, my followers or my clients, they choose to work with me, I want to comfort them and I want to show them a secure future. And I take a look at the patterns and I make, I analyze things that make sense to me. That's what I offer. And I say, no worries. I know it's harsh. I know it's turbulent. I know things are getting a little bit difficult, but just follow your design, come with me, and we will make it happen. And I feel like I have that, kind of responsible role, but also a role to get them excited about a new future, and to show them, and maybe sometimes also tease them a little bit with what lies ahead. And I use metaphors to do that, and also my own experiences, because I know what works in overcoming obstacles. So I feel like, I have the responsibility to guide them through their design in order to provide them with a better future, where they are calm and happy and thriving from their design. So that's what I do. It's just
I love it. And what a great example as well. And again, you have the entire strength of the 731. I, on the other hand, I do have the 7, but I don't have the 31. So, so it's very interesting. I can create the plans, but I can't necessarily administer the plans, right? So that can often be challenging. Or I have the plans, but I don't necessarily have the voice. So connecting up with someone like Linda, to work together in order to do that really brings strength to both of us. Right, whether she has the strength or either that or someone who just has the 31 on the other side brings that strength. So I've often found that I'm really good at putting together the plans. I'm not so good at implementing the plans. You're good at putting together the plans and implementing the plans.
Exactly.
Administrating the plans. Exactly. Yeah. And Heidi was saying she has 7 in quality 6 in the design earth. If the 6 is there instead of the 3, how does it alter what shows up? So let's talk about that, actually, because today it's in the 6. So if we take a look at it, so so your birthday was about half a year ago, probably. I'm guessing, Heidi. And if you want to step up and share, we would love to have you share as well. We're actually going to look at quality 6 today here as well. So quality 6 is the administrator, is the leader. It's the ability to share and justly apportion power. So when it's elevated, this is the capacity of the self through its role to communicate responsibly. So this is the power to communicate, and it's the framework of responsibility, right? So it's not taking on everyone, but it's being able to communicate and pass on. It's like being an administrator, passing on what everyone needs to do, what the roles are, and making sure that the leadership is shared and it's justly apportioned. Now, the challenge of this is the role of self to seek power through communication of responsibility. So this is the bureaucrat whose lust for power eventually destabilizes the entire organization. So yes, Heidi, we would love to hear from you.
It's interesting. I'm just looking at the leadership, and I'm just even trying to do the leadership in my own life. And it was really interesting with having the right people for the right jobs, and when it's not working, to shift that. I had my website with someone who was obstructing everything I was trying to do, and I had to do it their way, and that didn't work for me. So I've had to leave that behind. which wasn't easy because we've spent 7 months getting it to almost finished, and now I have to shift. And so, but I'm quite happy because even though what we've produced, I've already outgrown that website. So I wanted to shift it, but they were resistant. So there we go. But I also don't have the 31. But I think as the administrator in the quality 6 piece, without the 31, I've also not got the 31. I kind of put everything in place and just wait for things to take place. So I'm still really looking for someone in the business to do the implementing for the community, like getting the message out. And so that when it's in different qualities, like you have the gate, but it's in different qualities, it will, like, let's say today is line 6 by chance, but let's say we're in line 3. Does it lend the qualities of line 3 to what is possible today for me?
Yes. It's more of the collective, what's there in the background, which you can either take advantage of, right? If you know what it is and it's working correctly, you can take advantage of it. Sometimes it can be very conditioning and it can throw you off track, or it can feel uncomfortable, depending on where it is in your design. Sometimes, for example, the three would be in harmony, it would be in harmony. If it's the same, like today, it's in resonance. If it is, for example, in the 1 or the 2 or the 4 or the 5, it may be in a little bit of dissonance. So it may be easier during the 3s and the 6s versus the 1s, the 2s, the 4s, and the 5s, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Okay. And so that each line just has its different view of the leader and bring up different traits. And I'd be using my authority to know, well, is this conditioning or is this something that it actually will contribute?
Absolutely. Exactly. And that's why we have to be really careful, is because, with the background frequency, where we can always get, easily conditioned, not only from that, but also from the people around us, or the people that you may be in communication with. And they may, just like your web designer, may not want to move forward in a way that you want to move forward, or that you see that you want to move forward. And you may be conditioned to, I don't want to rock the boat. I want to be nice. I don't want to upset anybody.
That took a while. I thought, no, I'll be patient. He did offer to do what I asked him to do, but then he backtracked and pedaled back for 10 days. And it's like, this has been months. I'm not doing this.
Yeah.
And so, yes, it's shifted.
Yes.
So that's really cool.
And you have to be aware of when it's correct and when it's not. You have to be aware of, am I following what's correct for me, or am I being conditioned? And typically, if you hear a story, it's usually your mind that's getting in the way. It's like, I really shouldn't because of this and because of that and blah, 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 blah. That's usually conditioning. Whereas when you know.
Yeah, and that's exactly where it was. I actually knew about 2 or 3 weeks beforehand that actually the design of the whole website, I've outgrown it already, and it hasn't even been finished. So it was actually a cool experience to see. A little bit intimidating that all that time's gotten lost, but so be it.
Right.
Maybe we'll move. Maybe I've got all the things in place now to present to the next person who's going to work this out with me, to get the ball rolling faster.
Yeah, exactly. One of the things we talk about in the profit potential is that sometimes our mess is our message, or our mess actually sets us up for what we really do need. So we need to learn through that process. And it sounds like you learn through the process, and actually by the end of the process, it no longer fit anyway. Right. Yeah. So it is time to not only have, a new website, but also, a new energy or a new someone to work on it as well.
May I just ask, with the quality 6 in the leader, like, if it, not just in my own life, if I'm working with a group of people, how is that best, like through communication, just communicating the leadership to others? So I'm asking, how does it show up like
how does it show up in a group?
In a good way. Yeah, I mean, I can see the seeking power and kind of toppling the whole situation, which is not what I'm seeking to do. So it's how does the positive quality 6 show up in the leadership?
Yeah, leadership with quality 6, it brings a sense of trust. So anywhere where you have quality 6 within your design, people will naturally trust your wisdom, your advice in that particular area. So in this particular area, this is about planning when we're in a small group. And so it is about putting together the plan. It's about research and development. So that 6 is the trusted leader. So people will trust that whatever plan you put together is something that is viable moving forward into the future. And that's how you can use it in a positive way within a small group.
I'm just making a note of that. Trust. That's very valuable. Thank you so much.
Yes, you're very welcome. Anything, Linda, that you would like to add?
That's exactly what happens when I'm in a small group. They trust me. They trust me that I know what I'm doing and know what I'm talking about, and that I will not abuse my power, because you don't, in our energy, everything that we have in our design radiates out, and this trait is strong. It's in our energy. So when I'm working myself with someone that does something for me, like a website, because I'm so good at planning, I know what kind of steps need to be taken, and I really have to balance myself in how because I also have the trait 31 in communicating what I foresee for the future, because I exactly know how I want to be the website to be, what I need, what I want, and that's what I share. We go that way. And sometimes people feel maybe a little bit, oh, she's powerful, and maybe a little bit pushing it. But also, I feel like you have to be clear as a leader, what kind of direction you want to go. And most of the time, people that I work with share with me, you're so clear, you know what you want, you know where to go. And that's the trust, because if you are not clear and you are hesitant, then people will feel, oh, can we trust her? Is it okay to follow her lead, to follow her steps? So yeah, within a group, I feel like it's wonderful, because I can, with my clients, I can give them calmness, that I know what I'm talking about. I know where they can go, because I see their potential within their design, and I can give them that trust, and also the enthusiasm about how wonderful they are, and to tease them to a better future. And I'm going to lead them there. And that's how I really feel it as a positive thing. And when I also experienced a challenge, and that was when I was not in a leadership position, but leaders that I was working with felt my energy as a leader. They were feeling, what is she going to do? And I, innocent as I was, just with my planning skills, just pushing the button. But also sometimes I was so ambitious when I was a few years younger, that I was,
intimidating.
Misusing my power.
Or they felt intimidated because they felt your strength.
Exactly, yes. And that's what I mentioned. This is powerful. This is true leadership. And even if you are not in that position and you are not aiming for that role, people feel that you are able to have their role.
Okay, can I ask you, are you a builder?
Yes, I'm an express builder. Yes.
Okay. Because you said it's a quality that, like, do the gates have express builder qualities or projector qualities? Do they? And so if you as an express builder had a gate that had a quality of being a projector, you'd have to wait to be invited. But as an express builder, if the situation around you calls for your initiative, you can just go ahead and do it. Like that, you are almost invited by the circumstances well, as a builder, you don't have to be invited, but you're responding to the circumstances you find yourself in.
Yes, I have to wait for the invitation. So clients choose to work with me. That's an invitation. So I can initiate things for them. And I always have to respond to something. So sometimes I see something and I take the lead. For example, we need to do some construction in a house, and then I feel invited to take the lead to call someone that I feel, I have to have a constructor, and I feel invited to, because on the website I feel, oh, nicely written, and I'm going to take the initiative because I respond to the energy of that constructor, and then I say, okay, I have a plan. Let's make it work.
Yes.
And then I tell them how I want to do the construction, and if they are able to do that for me. So we always have to wait as a builder to respond to something, and there are projected strengths, and this is one of them, that I really feel I have to be invited, because when I was working with the example of a manager, I was not invited at all to give my opinion or to give feedback on their planning. And then I get punished, I get fired, literally.
Yeah. And then it's not very well received. So
No.
even though as a builder, she has to respond, there are certain strengths. This is the elected leader. You cannot lead unless you are recognized and invited to lead, no matter what career type you happen to be.
Exactly.
You know, you can be an innovator with this particular strength. And, you know, you still need to, in order to use this strength, in order to lead, you still need to be recognized and invited as the leader, or they'll meet a lot of resistance. Yeah, really great questions, Heidi. Thank you. Did you have another question?
No, I'm just very grateful that I could ask that, and that clarifying that even the gates and the channels, if they builders or innovators, that you have to be true to that quality in that part of your chart.
Yes.
To the quality of the channel and the gate.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, and that just exposes these deeper and deeper layers and levels. Yeah. So let's take a look at, I've done these little introduction slides, how you get affected when you are connected. So if you don't have trait 7, but you do have trait 31, what can be the shadow, if you will, of trait 7? So the shadow of trait 7 is, the questions that you can ask is, do you feel that you lack a plan moving forward? Do you feel like you have an empty voice with no sense of identification or power behind your words? Right? So that is if somebody has the 31, but not the 7, especially if it's a bridging trait. Again, this is in a sense the shadow of the 7. The problem is that you have the power to influence others, but you lack the planning necessary to lead from a place of strength. People may hear what you say as empty promises without a solid plan to back it up. And you may feel like you are not respected or able to lead because people don't trust what you say, because you have no plan. There's no foundation. So the solution The solution is you are designed to work in partnership with someone who can create a plan that you can then implement. So you need the power of someone with a plan to back your voice, to give grounding to your ability to influence and lead others. So with a solid plan, when working in partnership, your voice is heard and respected. So once again, one of the things we're taking a look at, especially this month, is how to work in collaboration, how to work, in connecting with others, how to bond with others in the correct way. And so if someone has the 7 and someone else has the 31, this can be a very, very powerful partnership, because one person can provide the plan and the other person has the ability to put the plan into action. So individually, they may not have that power, but together they do, right? And that's the power of this connection. So again, if you have the 31, but you don't have the 7, this can be the shadow that shows up that you try to overcompensate for. Don't worry. If you have the 31 and don't have the 7, you're not designed to have a plan. That's the responsibility. That's the job of the person that has the 7. Your job is to be able to share and implement whatever that plan happens to be. All right. So that's how these two traits work together in that type of partnership. Anything, Linda, that you would like to add? Or any questions, Heidi, that you may have?
No, that was clear. Thank you.
Yeah. So it's fun to start to see, again, how you get affected when you are connected, so that we can start to see what the shadows are. So each of the individual traits have their own shadows as well. And, so not only the functions, but the traits as well, just kind of getting in a little bit deeper. Now, we also have our celebrity life work theme for today. And we have Hulk Hogan. He's a wrestler. And so he's an American retired professional wrestler and television personality. According to IGN, he's the most recognized wrestling star worldwide and the most popular wrestler of the 1980s. And I think it fits really perfect with what his life work theme is all about. His life work theme is about masks. So you are projected upon to provide practical or wise leadership to be an influential change agent. You do so best from behind the mask or a title, such as a general or a therapist, or in his case, a professional wrestler, right? So it really is this persona. And that's really where he is able to influence, where he's able to have an impact, where he's able to be a change agent, right? As this character. I forgot, I was going to write down his actual name. So Hulk Hogan, of course, is not his real name, but it's the mask that he wears that gives him this power, right, to really fulfill on his life work. So I thought this was an excellent example.
It's amazing. And we know him in the Netherlands as well. So he is worldwide renowned. And I have to, because he had a reality show or something, and I had to laugh so much. I was feeling like, oh my goodness, he's just enjoying his character. It's amazing. And
and it's a character that's kind of over the top, right? It's this mask that he wears, this persona he puts on.
Yeah.
Right?
But wrestling in itself, it's all about that they create something that really seems really painful, but they know exactly what they're doing with their all the things they are smashing and then I love it.
Yeah. So again, a real great example of what this life work theme is all about. And as we move into this next week, so this week's theme, so we're wrapping up trait 7. So this is the last day of trait 7. We are now moving into trait 4. By the time we get to next week, we're going to be moving past 4 into the next trait. So let's talk about 4, because this is what to pay attention to or to be aware of this week. So trait 4 is the energy to beguile and succeed despite ignorance. So it's kind of interesting. We're taking a look at 2 logic traits today. It's freedom from retribution It's an answer, a formula, and an answer and a formula that's only a potential, right? It can sound like it's real, but it's really just an answer or a formula, right? But it's just a potential. It's not really real yet. It's youthful folly. Logic protects us from misfortune. And you have the ability to formulate logical answers when you have enough information. And each answer, each formula is only a potential that must eventually be tested and substantiated by facts. And it's the mental awareness to judge what looks suspicious and what does not fit the pattern. All right, so this is trait 4. Do you have this in your design, Linda? I don't remember.
No.
No, and I don't have it in mine either. Do you have it in
No.
yours, Heidi? Do you know?
I've just unmuted myself again. I don't, but my partner does, and so does her daughter. And it's interesting because I've kind of looked at it and read through it a few times, because I think that some of these things have come up like in interactions with other people, and the youthful folly bit. It's almost like taking the snapshot of a picture and betting everything on it rather than looking at the whole film, like zooming out enough to actually, so it's almost like committing yourself through the logic of one particle of information, but unjustly, like being able to get away with it for a short term, but I'm not sure how it turns out in the long term.
Yes,
So
exactly.
Yeah, so I'd love to hear what you have to say on the gate 4.
Yes, exactly. And this is kind of an interesting thing, especially kind of given what we're taking a look at in the world that's going on right now. What is truth and what is not truth? You know, we're told that we should trust science, but the problem is that you can also lie with logic. And especially when we look at here, this formalization is just a part of the process. It doesn't mean that it's true. And sometimes, you know, this is interesting, right? Logic protects us from misfortune. It's the energy to beguile and succeed despite ignorance, because it's only you're formulating the process. And I love what you said, Heidi. It's sometimes you're isolating one little piece, but you're not looking at the bigger picture. So you may not see really what the cause of something might be, or what the effect of something might be. And you're trying to create a story based in logic, but that logic can be flawed, right? And then you say, then because it has to be proved, right? With each answer, each formula, it's only a potential and must eventually be tested and substantiated by facts, right? So this isn't facts, but oftentimes we can think of this as facts. We can think of it as real, when, like what you were saying, Heidi, it's just, you know, one piece and you're sort of betting the whole thing on this one little piece without even seeing the bigger picture. I don't know, Linda, if there's anything you would like to add.
Yeah, I feel this is wonderful what you shared, and I love the sentence that an answer, a formula, is only a potential. It's the way you conceptualize it in your world. It's your perception, it's your way of thinking, it's your way that your design is taking a look at the world. So that's so interesting, and I don't have this trait, and my function of conceptualization is open, it's undefined, but people that have this trait, I can really see them going over the potential of things. Let's look at things this way. And then with my openness, I say, well, you can also take a look at it this way, because it's open. So I'm just open-minded, literally, for our things, and maybe share with them a different perspective. So I love the way people, and lots of people that have this trait are so good in formulating literally the logic steps of things. And then I feel, oh my goodness, how wonderful that you can describe it that accurately and so logical. It makes sense. But also what Karen shared, it's your perspective. And sometimes it can make sense to you, but it's not the truth, or it's not how it actually works. So it's really interesting to have this trait. Yeah.
Yeah. And we're focused a lot on the logic, right? We have the 7 that's part of the logic. We have the 4 that's part of the logic circuitry. We have what we took a look at in the background, right? In the past and future direction. Both of those are in logic as well. So there's a lot of logic going on in the background, trying to figure out what's real, what's not real, what does the science say? What does the science not say? And everything that's happening. So just pay attention. Again, this is trait 4. It's in conceptualization. So there may be this week, you may feel like you're really trying to be certain, or you may feel very uncertain, right? So there can be certainty as well as uncertainty, and not knowing what is correct, what is not correct. Does that logic make sense? Does that logic not make sense? Right. And we're taking a look at what we looked at earlier with the straw that breaks the camel's back and independence. Take a look at, how are you formalizing different ideas? What are you thinking? Sometimes you may be under a lot of pressure to think, when, like Linda was saying, your mind may be open and receptive, but sometimes it can lock it in. So again, just kind of take a look at what your mind is doing over this next week, because it will start to reveal, what are your truths, what are not truths. And again, this is for the collective and society as well, no matter where you are.
Yeah, I love the last sentence, and mental awareness to judge what looks suspicious or does not fit the pattern. I feel like maybe that's that straw that breaks the camel's back, that you feel like with this frequency or with this trait, if you have it, that does not make sense. And that you suddenly see it. Suddenly you, that, you may feel it or experience things. Oh, what he is talking about? No. Oh, and that's interesting. So I'm looking forward to how it will show up for each and every one of us this week.
Exactly. Lisa Renee was saying, I have 4 in line in quality 4 personality Venus. I also have it in the 24 and 47, so it balances out. But I'm a troubleshooter, and my awareness is always looking for what doesn't fit in, or is it off, or not matching the pattern. Exactly. So people can take it as being critical or only seeing what is wrong, but it isn't me thinking this. It's just my awareness that is attracted to and notices, but without judgment, right? So not critical in that way. Exactly. So it's just kind of recognizing those patterns that may seem a little off. And Lisa Snow was saying, I know a self-projected advisor with only the definition 731 and the 63.4, and they get messed up pretty easily. Yeah. And Maria was saying, I'm a mental advisor, and I have the conscious core essence in quality 4, or in trait 4, quality 4, in the defined conceptualization. So I know that I often sound as if I know it all, right? So this is about knowing. This is about certainty. This is about conceptualizing. Exactly. Thank you, Maria. And Leanna was saying, she gave us the link to the article, and Heidi was saying discernment versus judgment. Exactly. Oh, and I also love this about Hulk Hogan as well. I just wanted to add this as well. So Hulk Hogan was also the governor of Minnesota from 1999 to 2003. So a different leader in that sense as well. Exactly. Yeah, I thought I was trying to look that up and I didn't see that right away, but yes. Yeah, exactly. So again, another place where he really stepped in as an elected leader, right? As a governor. And Lisa Renee was saying, I'm from Minnesota, so a part of our history and pride. I love that. So really great example there. Wonderful. All right. Well, we're going to wrap everything up. Again, if you are new to BG5, you want to find out, do you have trait 7? Do you have trait 4? Do you not have them? You can go to the BG5 Business Institute and you can download your chart for free, and you can take a look at and follow along as we go through BG5 and BG5 Live. You can get a free report. You can also take a look at past episodes by going to our free resource library. That's also where you'll find Linda's article as well. So you can find that there. And classes are coming up in September. So September is coming up real quickly. So we invite you to take a part of our classes. Linda's going to be teaching the Bg5 Foundation Course. So if you are new to Bg5, it's a great place to start. Natalie's going to be teaching the Bg5 and starting the Bg5 certification course. So if you've already gone through the foundations, you can do the Bg5 certification. And if you are already a certified Bg5 consultant or you're studying to become a Bg5 consultant, we also have an advanced certification, which I'll be teaching, which is cycles. So it's really fitting for these times that we're in to really understand not only the global cycle, but your personal cycles, whether it be your annual cycle or your 30-year milestone, 40-year milestone, 50-year milestone. So really understand how the influences of the cycles play into your life as well. So would love to see you in our upcoming courses. All right, let's wrap everything up. Again, it's been great to have all of you here. What I'd like to do is just hear both from Linda and Heidi, sort of based on what we heard today. What are some things to kind of pay attention to over this next week, or things to reflect back on over the last week in quality when we're in trait 7, or looking forward in trait 4, taking a look at the logic that's there? What are some things to potentially pay attention to over this next week? Yes,
so
Heidi.
For the trait 4, what I like to take away with me for this week would be to, when I see something that I think needs fixing, not to just latch onto that one thing, but to see it in the big picture, that I don't just make the judgment and stick to it, but take in the diversity of other information that might be available that may shape and change the way that I've seen it from my perspective. And just to check and see, is that, and using my authority to know whether it's if I'm being conditioned or if it is my truth. Yes.
Oh, beautifully, beautifully said, Heidi. Thank you so much. And thank you for jumping on and asking your questions. It's been really fun to have you on board. So I really appreciate and thank you for being here and joining us.
Thank you.
And Linda.
Yes. Oh, thank you, Heidi, as well. I loved your sharing. Yeah. Well, what I started with discussing this Bg5 Live, I feel like we are in a place that we have to take leadership for our own future, and I feel like lots of people are teased out to do so, and I feel like we are now moving from the leadership part to being teased out to take a look at your future, to plan things, what you want to achieve and where to go, and what you feel invited to. We are moving into discerning. I love what Heidi also shared about discerning what we take into our future. And I feel like we have to be aware that we are not getting too much in our heads about it, and to take a look at our own lives, but also take a look at the broader picture, and also take a look at our surroundings, the things we are doing, the patterns that we are in, and then use this background frequency to literally discern what our truth is, what makes sense to us from the view we have from our design, and what serves us. And with the quality 3 in the past and future direction, I feel like it's all about bonds made, bonds broken. What do you literally take with you, but also experience what kind of things you resonate to, or with your decision making tree, what makes you tick, what is it that makes you thrive. So I'm really curious how it will show up in the world, because we also will see it show up maybe in the media, that things doesn't make sense that much, or that people are more critical. We feel like they are critical, but they are just seeing the flaws in the patterns. And maybe we will all see different flaws. And then maybe we are going to process more about, okay, well, that makes sense. Okay, well, interesting. So I feel like I'm going to watch my own thinking, but also watch the world and everything that's there.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Because we are heading towards a future we don't know yet.
Exactly. And it can be confusing. There can be chaos, the world's a bit crazy. It's been a bit crazy. This is what it looks like when we're transitioning. We're moving from one era to the other. So, as long as you're following your decision-making strategy, that's always going to keep you safe. Keep up the high, the high vibes, trust in yourself. And when you trust in yourself, no matter what happens, no matter what craziness does or doesn't happen, when you stay true to leading yourself through following your own decision-making strategy, that's always going to lead you in the proper direction. So it has been our absolute pleasure. Again, thank you, Heidi, for joining us. Thank you, all of us thank you for all of you who joined us live. Really great to have you. And we look forward to seeing you all next week. Have a great week, everyone. Bye-bye. Thanks.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.